People's National Party is in election mode. Members of the 81-year-old party were summoned to a two-day retreat to plan and prepare for the next general election, constitutionally due in 2021, but highly speculated to be called this year. Robian Williams reports on the results of that meeting.
The People's National Party is strengthening their political machinery. Communication, organizing, campaign financing, and fundraising were among the topics discussed at the two-day retreat. The party's General Secretary Julian Robinson provides input.
We had a presentation on the current trends, political, social, and economic trends in the marketplace, how we would finance and fundraise, and how candidates need to budget for a campaign, and then developing a work plan.
Robinson notes that moving forward, technology will play a key role in the party, and a number of apps are to be rolled out internally to help with communication. While not disclosing too much, Robinson speaks to the party's manifesto.
But what I would say, our manifesto will capture what I consider to be the critical issues. The issue of inequality, I believe, is a big issue in the country, and we are going to be tackling that. The issue of making Jamaica safe is a big issue. The reality, apart from violent crime, robberies, those things have been on the increase. Right? Many Jamaicans feel fearful and apprehensive about their surroundings. Making Jamaica safe is a big part of what we will articulate.
He indicates that the PNP has already identified majority of candidates to contest the next election.
So we spent quite a bit of time delving into specific constituency issues, what candidates and campaign managers need to do to ensure that they can be successful. And we have, I would say, at least 20 candidates who would be facing the electorate for the first time.
Leader of the opposition, Dr. Peter Phillips, asserts that the party stands ready for governance and will represent in the best interest of all, especially the voiceless and the powerless. Robian Williams for CVM Live.
Meanwhile, CVM Live can confirm that the People's National Party does not yet have a fixed candidate for the East Portland seat. And Dr. Dayton Campbell speaks on his reappointment to the shadow cabinet. Here's Robian Williams once again.
Back in April 2019, the People's National Party suffered defeat in East Portland when then-candidate Damien Crawford went up against the Jamaica Labour Party's Anne-Marie Vaz. Fast tracking that defeat, Crawford has thrown in the towel and is now stepping down from representational politics. But who will replace him in that coveted constituency?
I'm not confirmed at this time. As you would expect, the matters have been fairly recent. We have started the process. There are a couple of persons who have expressed interest, and we're going to move quickly to fill in that vacancy.
On now to the presidential election in September 2019 that ruffled feathers within the party. Staunch supporter of Peter Bunting and former opposition on health Dr. Dayton Campbell is now back in the shadow cabinet as Shadow Minister of Special Projects. Campbell notes that he will continue to believe in the philosophy of the party while working in any capacity. He says his focus is mainly to deliver policies and programs to better the lives of people and doing what he can to ensure that the party wins the general election. Some say it's a show of unification, while others are calling it a gamble. Campbell took to Twitter, brushing off the critics. Robian Williams for CVM Live.
Just hours before a curfew was imposed in Mountain View, the police seized one M16 assault rifle with a magazine containing 30 rounds of ammunition on Saturday. Reports from the Elliston Road Police are that about 4 a.m., lawmen were on patrol in the area when a premises was searched and the weapon along with ammunition was found. No one was arrested in relation to the seizure. CBM Live spoke to residents who did not want to be identified, who, while welcoming the police presence, criticized the security forces for taking too long to intervene. 3 checkpoints have been established given the tension brewing among gunmen on Jakes Road, Goodrich Avenue and Backbush. 10 men have died since the October incident that triggered the unwavering war among factions in Mountain View. One of the 6 science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM schools is expected to be built in Norwood, St. James. That's according to Security Minister Dr. Chang. The schools are expected to target marginalized communities and enhance the education sector. Here's Christine Forbes.
Dr. Chang says the Jamaican education system does not adequately target and enhance the conditions of marginalized young males, but instead limits them to the bottom of the socio-economic ladder. He says governments have not fully transformed the system in order to address the suppression of males. He mentions that there are plans to build a number of educational institutions that will target at-risk youths in St. James.
We had talked about a school there. We have 25 acres of land reserve right here between Anshore and Norwood. And I'm looking towards putting one of the new science STEM schools in that area. But we are looking really, in initial stages, we may very well make it a boys' school because we have a real challenge for space for boys in St. James, and we have a real challenge with education for our young males.
He says the initiative will benefit the overall development of the parish, but will have a greater impact on the Norwood community. Chang maintains that a number of the programs being offered at institutions are not customary to males.
The National Service Corps and the introduction of property management and our operation of articulated vehicles, which I expect to begin by the end of this month into February, and we make a public announcement to give the young men opportunities. But while that is to deal with those who have come away, I'm hoping we can have some more space in a quality school for young males in St. James.
The security minister says there are further plans to address the crime problem in St. James and to create more dynamic communities. The St. James Municipal Corporation renamed Quebec Avenue to Dr. Horace Chang Boulevard in honor of the security minister. Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
The private sector organization of Jamaica, PSOJ, says updating its corporate governance code for 2020 in preparation for the Data Protection Bill is reportedly in its final stage of revision by Parliament's Joint Select Committee. The PSOJ says the proposed act is expected to revolutionize how businesses handle customer data. Companies that fail to safeguard their customers' information can be halted. Its principals fined hundreds of thousands of dollars and in other cases sentenced. Jamila Maitland reports.
The PSOJ says it stands ready to support the government's bid in protecting the privacy of Jamaicans. It announced that it is revising its corporate governance framework to further tighten its code on privacy. Chairman of the PSOJ's Innovation and Digital Transformation Committee, Christopher Record, explained that Parliament's Joint Select Committee should be reviewing its recommendations and amendments to the proposed Data Protection Act after almost 2 years of examining the bill.
I believe that there's a final document that still needs to be presented so we can say that this is now the actual bill. I think it's the final part of it is going through the last stages of approvals right now within the legislative framework. It is at Joint Select.
The proposed act seeks to regulate the collection, processing, storage, use and dissemination of certain information in physical or electronic form. The Commissioner, once established, has the power to stop a business if it involves the processing of personal data and the company is in contravention of the Act. Those found guilty can be sentenced up to 5 years in prison. The Data Protection Bill gives way to a much-anticipated national identification program. The PSOJ explained that the delays in passing the bill are limiting the country's ability to become first class in the region and compete globally. However, they acknowledge the importance of the private and the public sector being equally ready for the implementation.
You have to go to a tax office. You have to pay for the fee. Then you have to go downtown somewhere, take the fee, show it to them. And then, of course, if there's one mistake where you wanted it to be one day and you only paid for regular, then you have to go back again. All those places need to be connected first before, if I come somewhere and present the ID, for them to quickly verify to say that this is me. So what NIDS and the whole NIDS system is phase one of the project, which actually is happening, right, is that all of these organizations need to be tied together.
Mr. Record theorizes that the bill will change how businesses handle their customers' personal information. And while a timeline of when the bill is expected to be brought back to Parliament was not given, the PSOJ predicts that by the end of March, the bill will be passed. Jamila Maitland for CVM Live.
The newest Crystal House Learning Center is scheduled to open in August of 2020. Approximately 840 students from the severely impoverished area of Spanish Town will be served when all phases are complete. Christine Forbes reports.
Crystal House International is a charity group which focuses on creating change by giving impoverished children access to education. The school being constructed in St. Catherine is the 8th of such schools built by the organization.
We're very proud to be able to bring this project to Jamaica, to be able to uplift the kids of the Spanish Town area. And what we are seeing today is the construction that is about halfway complete. Lots of work yet to go to have this school ready to operate for the upcoming school year 2020/21.
According to Schneider, 180 students will be enrolled in the first year of operation. In addition to that, he notes that the school's curriculum will reflect that of the local education system. He, however, says great focus will be placed on ensuring that children are exposed to character and leadership development.
First phase of construction, we will build basically half of the school, okay, kindergarten through grade 6. Then in phase 2, which will begin construction in about 5 years, that will be grades then 7 through 13.
Dr. Carl Samuda says he welcomes the project as sustainable growth for Jamaica is attainable by educating citizens.
I think that it is a gesture that is one of a kind, and it's one that Jamaica will serve Jamaica in an extraordinary way at this time when we are focusing on the development of our greatest asset, our human asset.
Crystal House has established schools in a number of countries, including India, United States, and South Africa. Christine Forbes, CVM Live.
Following rumors circulating on social media of an extradition request for members of the government, the U.S. Embassy has released a statement that there is no extradition request or requests for any member or any minister of the Jamaican government from the United States. They went on to say that the Jamaican government has been very cooperative with the U.S. government on these matters. Prime Minister Andrew Holness took to Twitter with this comment, quote, "The PNP operatives who have been carrying rumors and fake news should know that the era of social media is not just for those who would seek to use it negatively.